Hey guys, here's a side-by-side video of the stock Losi Mini-T 2.0 and our HackFab EDM / late model chassis conversion. As you can see, it stretches the wheelbase quite a bit. Doesn't change the width at all any, but it does change the wheelbase, makes it longer, provides a left offset chassis. And we're going to go over some of those features right now. So here's our chassis conversion. Basically what we've got here is the standard configuration of how we're going to offer these. They are going to have two different battery inserts, these trays here. This one that's in here now will work with the stock pack, and I'll show you that real quick. It just kind of drops in there, fits real nice, and then you would run a piece of strapping tape from here around the battery, kind of like the carpet pan cars and stuff that we see all the time. It keeps everything simple. So the main thing we have is the lower chassis, which is pocketed. You can see it right here. That's to save weight a little bit and also provide a cost-effective way to get the battery lower in the chassis without creating like a milled pocket in the G10. This way it's kind of cost-effective solution and also adds performance. And we also are going to offer this other chassis, well, same chassis, but it's a different battery tray option. Here's one mounted to a chassis, but basically you'd have both options on the same chassis. They use the same pocket, and you can just switch those out. That one if you're going to use the stock LiPo, and then this one if you want to run a full-size LiPo that is 16 to 2000 milliamps, and there's various sizes and stuff. So what we did was make just a generic tray. It doesn't really put the battery down in, but most of those packs that they do offer are soft packs. So we did build in kind of a wall to kind of help protect from accidents or punctures and stuff coming in from the side. And then there is, another strap option, so you can kind of strap it down twice if you want. And then again, you can, like I said, you can run the stock battery with this configuration. There is enough room that if you go with the full-size pack, you can move the electronics underneath the chassis brace here. It should work for these speed controls and aftermarket ones. This other chassis I'm going to put together today is a brushless version, so we'll see how that goes, but I don't anticipate any issues. So what you get with your kit is the chassis itself, the long battery tray insert, a short battery tray insert, an upper brace, and an upper brace bracket, and a rear body mount. So those are the items that come with this kit. The rear bracket, we've narrowed it down to one version. You can see it on this car. Basically, we're using CRC body posts. They're 5mm in diameter, and you would run like a body pin on the top and the bottom, and keep it kind of where you want it, the adjustment there. And then they just bolt right straight through the shock tower. Those screws are 6mm M2s, cat bed screws. We are including those. And then the upper brace is this piece. It connects basically to the front brace and then connects to the waterfall on the rear motor mount there. And basically it's this small piece here, and you just bolt that to the upper brace. Again, screws are included. I've made this so it has threaded inserts, so there should be no issues with strength or the screws pulling out of that piece. And then these are the factory screw locations for the front brace. So I upgraded these here to aluminum just to kind of help with the rigidity. I don't think you need those. My other chassis I'm leaving stock. I also took this thing apart probably 24 times with the different prototypes, so those were getting a little bit worn out on the stock plastic ones, so that's another reason I upgraded. Overall, that's I don't think you need it. And then again, I've explained this a couple times in some of the posts and stuff, and I'm not running this little front bumper here just because I'm working on another prototype thing for a front bumper mount for late model, so just ignore that I'm missing that. But basically, to convert your car, you are taking a stock chassis, and we need to cut it basically between these 4 front screws and the servo mount. So what I'm going to do is include a template that will allow you to do that yourself. It's a vinyl sticker that we apply here. It'll show you a line here, and that way it should be pretty easy to stick it in a vise and a couple passes with a hacksaw, and then you've got basically that. And that is the front kick up, and I'll show you kind of how this works. The stock chassis has those front rails here that they get kind of sandwiched in between the chassis and that upper brace, or that front brace right here. So they're between the brace and the chassis, if you can see that. So what I did is mimic that in my design. You can see that here. And so the chassis, the G10 chassis actually is kind of pocketed for the depth of the chassis, or the stock chassis kick-up, we're going to call it. You can see that right here. So it's kind of milled out, and it does give you that lip that allows you to bolt that kick-up to it. And this is like not something that hasn't been done before. The old school Kranzel Terminator cars used to have a kick-up that would basically be attached to the front of the car. So did the B3, and you know, a lot of the old associated cars had a kick-up. And I think this is probably the best way and the cheapest, most cost-effective way to make this kick-up, and then keep all the stock geometry the same as far as the front steering and how everything gets assembled on the pivot block and everything else. So it's just like utilizing the stock front end, and then figuring out a way to mount it to the the offset oval chassis, which has the longer wheelbase. So initially when I did that prototype in, I 3D printed it, and obviously it had a lot of flex. It was surprisingly rigid, but not enough. So we made it out of G10, and you probably don't even need that upper brace, but just in case, I think it added strength, just so you're not shearing that lip off. Basically, the upper brace provides rigidity from the forward to back, and even if it did flex a little bit, it's not bending here to then allow the front to pick up like this and then shear that lip off. So I think it's plenty strong. I've run a few hundred laps on the car. It's not really fast enough in stock form to be able to break it. The thing I broke was the arms, which is pretty common on these, but I had zero flex in the final prototype chassis, and I think it'll hold up really well. So I'm anxious to do my brushless version and see what happens when it goes a little bit faster. So again, it's a pretty easy conversion. Basically, we're going to take the stock chassis and cut it via the decal that I'm supplying, and I'll show that in a minute. And then we take all the components apart from the stock one and then bolt it up to the stock chassis, or to the aftermarket chassis, and then install the upper brace and the body mount, and then you've pretty much got yourself an oval car. There's a few other things we're working on. You know, these are body mounts that are temporary, going to run 2-inch CRC posts, and that works really well for the EDMs. For the late model bodies, I think you'd have to run longer ones, and then it pretty much puts it in the windshield area, which is not ideal. So I'm coming up with a front bumper style body mount. I've got that pretty much set 90% of the way, so I have to do some final tweaking, and that'll be as like an option part, an add-on, so if you will, because I don't know what people are going to do with this, and I'd hate to make the cost go up just to kind of include everything. But that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you guys an overview real quick on kind of what's included, where things stand, and you know, why some of the things are done, and how this kit goes together. I'll probably do, like I said, I'll do a little demo on the kick-up plate, and show you how everything goes together. Stay tuned.